Somebody asked me if I would do a garden tour, and I mean, it seems like my garden's nothing but a hot mess, but I thought, I guess I would be happy to show my garden. I'm pretty happy of the fact that my garden is my entire yard. So if you hear a noise, it's my neighbor's pool. I live right in a very busy subdivision, and you hear birds. I have a lot of wildlife, weirdly. I'm going to show you the garden though. I don't know, I love it. It needs work. It's a hot mess. It's got lots and lots of weeds, but whatever, I love it, and I'll show you. I'll give you a quick view of the garden. It's my whole yard, which isn't huge, but it is all garden. And plus, on my deck, I have stuff to show you. But actually, I'm going to start down here before the sun gets any brighter. I think it'll hit the deck last. So, I've got some yarrow. Like I said, the garden's a hot mess. Bee balm. And this over here is a baby-sized, with beetles. I'm going to have to get after these guys. Okay, that's a job for as soon as I finish this video. This poor little cherry tree. The bunnies killed the one that was there last. They killed it over the winter last year, and so that's a brand new tiny little tree. I've got some lemon thyme growing like crazy. More yarrow, yellow yarrow, as well as the pink yarrow over there. I've got yarrow everywhere, you'll see. Oh my goodness, I have a precious little poppy about ready to burst. That little poppy is the same as these gorgeous poppies here. It's just little because it's not getting any sun because it's completely covered by the thyme. And then I've got echinacea, more yarrow, more bee balm, valerian, I believe this is. I think this is Russian sage here. It's quite lovely. Yes, this is Russian sage. Oh my goodness, if you don't grow this in your garden, you should. It just smells so amazing. And the hummingbirds love it. It's weird because there's barely a flower. The hummingbirds just love this plant. But they really love this too. This is wild bergamot. And then I've got betony. And this was my beautiful prize cherry tree that's... It's dying. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a fungal infection. I'm going to try to resuscitate it, although it's got a new shoot coming that I think is above the splice, so I don't know, maybe it's not fungal. I'm not sure. I need some advice. If you know what might be wrong with it, look at this poor tree. It was gorgeous, and then it wasn't. I'll start back over here. They're sort of in loose rows. This is a rosemary, and yeah, I'm in Canada, so it shouldn't be this big, but I keep bringing it in the winter, but it usually really is flourishing by now once it comes out, but it's not. I'm hoping it's going to spring back for me. I've got these gorgeous poppies that I planted in the winter. I just throw them out in the snow. Here I've got, okay, so I had tomatoes here last year and they've all just come up on their own again. I've got so many, you'll see so many tomatoes in my garden. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. I've tied these ones up. These were the best tomatoes I've ever eaten, so if they grow again, I'm going to be really happy with that. I'm struggling with bunnies, so this is a bean plant that's finally growing, and I'm hoping to get a bean out of it at some point. Oh, I might cut this leaf off this tomato. Okay, it's kind of getting in the way of this bean. Anyways, I'm really hoping to see some results, but the bunnies, they keep eating this bean. Well, I had more than one. They ate them all. Just like my peas, look. They've eaten all the tops off them. I've planted the peas 3 times last year. They covered this whole entire structure. But this year, as you can see, they've eaten the tops of them all. Oh, that's another tomato plant. I pull them out constantly. There's another tomato plant. So many came up from last year because I did not do a good job. I did not do a good job of harvesting them. This is, well, I've been trying my best to grow peas here, but it's not happening. And here I've got, I believe it's stuff growing from the bird feeder up above. And this is a radish that I'm letting go to seed here. And this, oh, here's another tomato growing stray. Anyways, then I actually planted all kinds of veggies in here. And then these volunteer potatoes decided to grow from last year. So that was a surprise, but you know what? I love potatoes more than just about anything, so I decided to let them grow. They want to grow, they get to grow. You can see some of my cilantro did grow though. A little row of cilantro there. None of anything else. Maybe there's a few radishes mixed in there that grew, but oh, I have a little kohlrabi and some leeks and definitely kale that the bugs haven't eaten. I have a volunteer onion that grew up from last year. And I did plant a few onions in here. And I have two volunteer sunflower there and one here. I have a sad pepper. Oh, I didn't even notice. I didn't even point out some of the other sad peppers. This is bronze fennel. I'm actually trying to give these away. They're so beautiful. They grow into a huge plant. I'll show you in a minute. I have a huge one, but these are just babies. This is some sad basil. This is also, oh, I don't know, maybe the 4th time I've planted it. This one I bought starts at the grocery store or at Walmart the other day, and they are not doing well. The bunnies have eaten most of those too. More bronze fennel here. Now, these are red onions, and I've let them go to seed because these were actually volunteers from last year. I swear I could have sworn I dug all these up, but no, I did not. And there they are. I have a volunteer tomato. Almost all my tomatoes are volunteer, although I did plant several in pots that I bought as starts. I did plant a few of these onions, but I also have chives that are just randomly growing everywhere. I have another tomato, and these are all potatoes here, and I did plant these from seed potatoes. And they're doing quite well. In fact, I'm quite happy because I did see some potato berries coming even, which means my potatoes are pretty happy. So I'm happy about that. All these are just chives. I have chives, they grow everywhere. And then I have this little garden down here. And so this is a cherry tree that did give me cherries. The birds ate 90% of them, but look, I'll show you. Look at all these empty stems. It was loaded with cherries. I did get quite a few off of it too before the birds ate them all. I have more yarrow. I have strawberries in here. They're just like native strawberries, so they're small, but they're really tasty. I eat them out here quite often, and as you can see, there's lots growing there. More of the lemon thyme, yarrows everywhere. More strawberries, more yarrow, chives everywhere. More strawberries in here, more chives, more yarrow. This little part of the garden is normally a pond. It's like there must be an underground spring. It's always wet. Nothing ever really grows, but this year it's been drier. I did put a pepper here. It's doing remarkably well, all things considered. I did a hard prune on my tomatoes the other day, so I laid one in here sideways, and I'm hoping it's going to grow. It's actually perked up quite a bit from yesterday. I did an experiment. I did this one laying down, and this one I stuck in straight up. We can tell which one's doing better, but we'll see. Again, I don't normally plant stuff over here. I have planted stuff over here, but it just never really grows into much. I do have a little bit of lettuce growing, but you can see, obviously, if I've got one, I planted lots, but there's none. There's no other lettuce growing in here. It's sort of depressing. Okay, so we have beautiful milkweed in here. This is a native milkweed. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, I love it. Looks so pretty with the yellow yarrow. That's the cherry tree on the backside. And this is, oh, they're just starting to open, the bee balm. The bees really do love these, as do the hummingbirds. And I have so much of it. I don't know if you can appreciate. That's a huge patch. Okay, I'm going to come over here. And I've got, again, these are mostly volunteer tomatoes, although I've thinned them out, believe it or not. In fact, I continue to thin them out constantly. Now I have a male Arctic kiwi, and I had a female there and a female there, but the bunnies have managed to kill it over the winter. So that is really sad. I did notice, I'll climb in here. I did notice down here this. I'm not sure if that's a weed or if it's my female trying to grow. I hope it's my female trying to grow. Maybe I should prune out that tomato. I have oh my goodness, I have a sweet pea. My grandson planted that there. He's 3, so he'll be excited to see it growing when he comes next. And I've got more tomatoes. I've got more of this fennel. The fennel's kind of hard to see, but it's all covered with dew this morning. It's pretty early right now, but I love this fennel. It's so pretty, and it tastes like black licorice if you eat it. And the pollen on it apparently is quite valuable. It's pretty desirable. I've got little tomatoes here and here, all different kinds. And here's one that I bought as a start, and look, it's already getting tomatoes already. I'm in Canada, so it's good for me. I've been trying my hardest to grow raspberries anywhere, and they are just not having any luck. I'm not doing well with it. Here's some zucchini. I can see they've got beetles somewhere. I've looked for the beetles. I'm not finding the beetles, but you can see there's damage. I'm assuming that's from beetles. I've got some started. I saw a baby coming in here yesterday. Oh, a couple babies starting. Hopefully they get pollinated. Got some, this is just, I'm not even sure. It's a mint, but I found it growing by the creek on a walk I was on, and I brought it home, and it tastes really yummy, but I'm sure it's not real peppermint. Oh, I have a little tomato growing here. Oh, along my back fence. I should plant some more stuff here. This is sort of a goal. I have some random things coming through, I think, from the neighbor's yard. I sort of suspect this is a gooseberry, but I'm not positive, but it sure looks like one. So I'm gonna let it stay. I have a tomato that barely gets any light, so who knows if it'll do anything. And I have, it's really hard to see, but I have a row of asparagus. I planted asparagus seeds this spring, and I've got lots coming. They're doing quite well. Okay, over at the deck here, I've got a gigantic fennel. It's almost 6 feet tall. It's huge. It's starting to flower. And here's some more of those really precious, precious little poppies. Look how beautiful that is. My goodness. And they're just kind of growing in here. I planted them in the winter, and I just threw them in the snow, and they ended up where they ended up. This is a blueberry that gave me lots of blueberries last year, but nothing this year. The bunnies did chew it back to a nub this year. I've got a pepper, another one of those poppies, a little tomato, another pepper, a healthy weed in here. I'll pull out another blueberry, which I saw a blueberry in here. Oh, there it is. It has given me a few blueberries, but again, the bunnies ate it back to a nub. And then more yarrow. And this is a hascap or honeyberry, and it has given me berries. They're really interesting looking purple berries. They're sort of a cross between a blueberry and something. I don't know. They're kind of the blueberry color, but they're not blueberries. And I've got grapevines, and I keep putting them up on my deck. My goal is to have them covering the deck. I have lots of grapes coming this year, which will be my first year to get blue grapes, sorry. There's some. There's more. Yeah, there's lots in here. They're just slowly coming. I'm really excited to get grapes this year. And more of the bee balm, more yarrow, and another hascap down here, or honeyberry, however you want to call it. That one has not, I don't think I got any fruit off it, but maybe next year. More of the bee balm, and then this is I think this is my oldest grape. It's getting bigger. The bunnies chew these back too. It makes me crazy. Okay, now we're gonna go look at on top of my deck. I have some stuff. Oh, before I go on top, I've got some tomatoes here that I tied up. I tried to keep them pruned to just one lead, but I let this one get 3, so I've got 3 leads coming off of it. I'm hoping these are gonna just grow up here, and I don't care. They can kind of cover the deck here. That'll be nice. And this one I've got has 2 leads on it. But they're growing well. I bought those tomatoes up on my deck. So this is sweet potatoes, which I'm going to try and bring in the fall because there's no way these will be ready by fall. They have a long story behind them, and maybe I can tell you that another time. It's a long story. Oh, and I brought my coffee out and forgot it. This is me trying to grow carrots because every time a carrot ekes out of the ground, the bunnies gnaw it off immediately. And I've got some cilantro, and I did have some basil planted in here, but I don't know, some bird came, I think it was a bird, could have been a squirrel, and dug it all up. It's just, I live in a subdivision, like you can see. I'm surrounded by houses. Like, I don't know why there's so much wildlife in my yard all the time. So blueberry, I bought this one this year. Nothing's happening with it, but it's growing. Finally, a raspberry that's growing. I put it in a pot. It's growing well. This is a little mango I'm growing from a seed, which won't amount to anything, but there it is. I got a little, I think it's called Echeveria, just a succulent that I bought to go in the house, but I'm giving it sun out here. Another blueberry. My pepper here is doing well. I've got 3 peppers on it so far. Well, 3 bigger peppers. Where's that third one? There it is. And then I've got some little guys coming too. This is a pineapple I started from a pineapple top from the grocery store. We had a really bad storm here not too long ago, and I did not bring this in the house. It did sustain some damage. But, I mean, I can't bring everything in. And I've got tomatoes with some cilantro I planted around it. I thought I planted basil there, but it was cilantro. And this blueberry, which has been giving me blueberries, and somehow the birds have not eaten it. It's a miracle. I've got it sort of, oh, look, here's another one. I bought this just this year, so it's its first year with me. But it's I kind of keep it tucked under my gazebo a little bit, so. Anyways, over here, I have a beautiful hydrangea that I wintered over from last year. It was down. I actually cut it back to nothing. It was just one little tiny stump, and then it grew into this. It's gorgeous. I love it. And this is a citrus tree here that I grew from a clementine seed. So I'll back up. You can see it's over 5 feet tall. It's going on 6 feet tall now. And I've trimmed actually a lot of it back because it was getting really unruly. Oh, I should go to the front. Okay, so I am on the road here. If you hear noises, it's cars. So here's the front of my house. I've got some rhubarb, boxwood. I've got a lot of native plants growing in here. I've got echinacea, sedum. I've got an apple tree. It had 4 branches with 4 different varieties on it, but the bunnies managed to eat off 2 of the 4 branches this year. I've got more fennel, some sage. I've got a lot of weeds in here. This is a bit of a mess. I've got red yarrow growing, which I love. I've planted a lot of zinnias, but boy, they are not growing very well. Anyways, I'll give you an overview here. I've got lots of more yarrow. Got lots of things growing out here. I'm just going to show you. I don't think I can name every single thing. I've got some really lush oregano here. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Everything out here is supposed to have either a medicinal or edible quality, or most things. I shouldn't say everything. Oh, hello, Mr. Bumblebee. I love you. I've got this purple sage. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I was looking at it last night with the yellow flowers. Like, it's just so pretty. And this is woolly time. And it's awesome. You can walk on it. It's great. I had it put there just because sometimes we might, if we're bringing out big pieces of furniture down the stairs, we might walk across here. I've got some lilies, and the sun is becoming a problem, as I knew it would. I've got some little lysianthus growing. If you know what lysianthus are, you'll understand my struggle. I planted these in February. Ugh. I planted 72, and I'm down to these 4. 2, 3, 4. I don't think that's one. I think it's just the 4. This is some more of that beautiful native milkweed. This is wormwood, which I have to keep cutting back. It smells really lovely, and it gives a lot of texture. But boy, it grows huge. And then I've got echinacea. Oh, it's starting to open. A big clump of echinacea. A big clump of echinacea over here. It's quite lovely. It's a bit of a hot mess, but I love it anyways. It will get better. Every year it's going to get better. There's other things in here I can't find or can't think of the names. Anyways. Oh, and I've got a tree here as well, a locust tree. Thanks for joining me. Please don't beat me up in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please check out this one or this one. See you there.